And so to teach the pre-licensure as a trainer, you have all these new agents that are now like, oh, so I want to know how you did that. Where are you at? Who's your brokerage?
That's right.
And I always tell my students still, like, hey, go interview brokerages. Do your due diligence. Yeah. I want you to still get that experience.
Right.
Then come back to me. If you didn't like any of them, come back to me.
Right.
And then we can talk. And so I've had a couple agents that came back and talked to me. And so they joined my team. Mm-hmm. And then it's just been growing.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are back and better than ever. My name is Sid, host of the Unbiased Truth Podcast. We've taken a few weeks off from recording. Went on vacation end of June, 1st of August. Then Courtney took some days off before or after, probably both, because she just kind of comes and goes, doesn't really tell me what she's doing.
I put it all in the calendar, and he scheduled one for the other day, and I was like, I have a doctor's appointment, and it's in the calendar, and it's been in there.
She did. There's no formal process for approval. It's just in the calendar.
In the calendar.
I text him, and I'm like, hey, or I call him in the middle of a call. I'm like, oh, by the way, I have a doctor's appointment, and he's like, okay, and then blames me the day of, and he's like, you didn't say it. I'm like, yes, I did. It's in the calendar.
It is in the calendar. Check it.
I don't have time for all this. And then after that, August. We just talked. August has been a crazy busy month, so it's been hard to do anything other than really inspections for me, which is a good problem to have.
Yes.
So looking for one or two more inspectors to help out with that. So if you know anybody,
I got it. Send them your way, huh?
Send them my way. Yeah. So today I'm joined by the ever amazing Latoya Washington.
Hey there.
Hey. So she is the team leader for Morgan & Company, powered by eXp Realty. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Latoya Washington. I am a team leader, like you said, for Morgan & Co. We are a multi-million-dollar producing team here in Richmond, Virginia.
And you can tell that because you can see how she's dressed for those watching on video compared to how I'm dressed. So I hang out with, I strike up when I bring people on here.
Listen, I had training before this. I was training the team and I had a team lunching.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been busy. Like you said, it's been a busy month.
Yeah.
It's been going good though. No complaints.
Good.
We're starting to see the shift, and we're liking it.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. I did a Facebook Live right when this was really starting to happen, right? Mm-hmm. With Kim Siebel-Wright over at Keller Williams, or Kim Wright-Siebel over at Keller Williams, the team leader of the Wright Group, and Greg Cohort of NFM Lending, team NFM Lending, and just kind of talked about, because there was a lot of, what's happening, all that stuff and what to plan for, what to expect. So now, my prediction was that there was going to be a transition, looking from the home inspection side of things, that it was going to take some time. Even though interest rates shot up, buyers were going to exit, but we were going to transition from waiving inspections to everybody gets an inspections. I expected that transition to last a lot longer than what it did. And maybe this is just a house of cards, but so far it seemed to last a couple weeks, combined with vacations and whatnot. And August has just been, crazy. And every time I look up the house where I'm going, it's $20,000 in reduced price, $40,000 reduced price. And I've talked to agents and they've all said the same thing. Buyers got a little bit of a swagger walking through the door.
They do. They're walking through the door with demands.
Yeah. Don't like this old stove, get rid of this old microwave.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
Yeah. So what do you see it on your end?
On my end, I am seeing exactly that. Working with buyers and sellers, I see both sides of the transaction. And so buyers are coming in now and they have their demands. Yeah. They're coming in straight out the gate, asking for sellers concessions in their offer.
Yeah.
And they're not asking for a little bit. It's not like, let me get $2,000. It's, hey, coming in, can I get 10?
Yeah.
I need $10,000.
Yeah.
And so sellers are realizing, those who held back during this pandemic when the interest rates were low and the market was super hot for sellers, And some of them had, a little bit of a little fear, right? To put their house on the market. They're now kicking themselves in the butt because now they're ready to sell, but interest rates went up. Buyers are walking in with a little swag now, asking for sellers' concessions. So they're missing out on, what was that inflation at the time.
Yeah, and while we're still low inventory, right?
Yes,
we're still very
definitely.
short on inventory, but it's just a different feel to it, especially in certain communities because it's buyers like, you know what? I'm not feeling that price. I'm not paying $450,000 for a house without a garage, or whatever the case may be. So we're seeing some price reductions very quickly now. So it's very interesting that, like I said, even though if you look at it on paper, I don't think that the power dynamic should be the way it is right now. It still should be very much favorable to the seller, but it really has.
It has shifted.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're seeing houses on the market longer.
Yeah.
We're starting to see everyone's asking for the home inspection. I know you're busy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's a good thing for you.
It is.
But everyone is asking for that home inspection, and they're hoping their inspector finds some stuff.
Yeah.
Because even if they didn't come out the gate asking for those seller concessions, they're like, nope, he wrote one thing on this report. I need all of it.
Yeah. Before, during the pandemic, it was like, God, please don't find anything, because you couldn't negotiate. And now it's like, did you get that crack?
Did you see that? Did you see the little scratch right there? No, catch that.
I had talked to an agent the other day. She's like, I was up till midnight doing a repair denim. She's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years.
Like the doorknob's loose. It's like, it's okay. Just use a screwdriver really quick.
Yeah. So
They're like, nope, put it in the report. I want $100 for that.
That's right. Buyers definitely are feeling some power. There's still some hot pockets out there.
Definitely.
Still,
depending on the location.
Yeah,
you do have
as I've talked before with other people, it's hyper local real estate. And Richmond is still, it's going to be for a long time a hot spot in Metro Richmond. So there's going to be pockets for sure where you're still waiving inspections and whatnot. But there's a starting to be encroached upon.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Even builders are starting to feel it too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to get very creative to be able to get their homes sold. A lot of the builders that do spec homes or they are building the house, for those who don't know, building the house, ahead of time and then trying to sell it. They have a lot of inventory on hand that they're not able to turn over quickly. And so they're coming with, different programs. Use our preferred lender, and you can get interest rate of 3.99. And we'll raise it next month. But, hey, you can get in now, and we're also going to give you some closing costs of $15,000.
That's right.
So it's like they're getting creative now.
So it's exciting. Like I said, I personally didn't expect the transition to happen as fast as it did. But I think with I don't know, I guess the drop in some of these prices and stuff like that, or the power shifting back to the buyers, I think that eased some of those fears, right? Because before it was high price, high rate, right? Yes. Relatively speaking, based off the last couple of years, I think
even though they're historical lows,
right? It's just the rate, the speed at which they went up, combined with as is and waiving, right? But once they started realizing, you know what, I don't have to waive. I think it eased some of those fears and they started getting back into it.
Especially for the buyers who decided to take that time out to wait because they were like, I can't compete in this market.
And it's funny because I'm sure you've seen it and we've all done it, right? Because the motto is there's no better time to buy than now. So for the last 3 years, 2 years, 1.5 year, whatever it is, last year, 6 months ago, it was always, don't wait. And you got to buy now, And of course, I mean, in this industry, you're not going to say not buy, right?
Exactly.
Let's be honest, right?
You're not.
But
you're always going to buy right as long as you pick the right realtor.
Exactly. But it's just all of a sudden, it's like, you know what? Some of these buyers, maybe they were right.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'll hold off a little bit.
Yeah, and definitely not a crash, but it's a readjustment for sure that in favor of the buyers. But
I've advised some buyers that couldn't exactly compete during the pandemic. And the seller's market that we had, maybe you can hold off, wait a little bit for the market to cool a little. Yeah. That way you can come in and be able to get the home you're looking for.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not have to worry about giving up your entire life plus a newborn kid, and your blood type in order to get a house.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be house poor. I want to make sure that we do this the right way.
Yeah. Absolutely. So shifting gears a little bit, I met you when you was with Cap Center.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We can bleep that out if you want. I don't know if you want that.
I'm fine with it. Everyone knows my story. Yeah. I'm transparent.
That's right. So that's when I met you. You was working over there, and I don't know anything about anything really.
Yeah.
But my understanding is Cap Center is more of a discount brokerage.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
So from there you transitioned to EXP.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And then from waiting around EXP, you decided to start your own team.
Yeah.
So what was that path like? What made you decide to leave Cap Center was Cap Center your first start?
No.
Okay.
I started off real estate in Florida, in Jacksonville,
nice.
Florida.
Nice.
I did 4 years of real estate in Florida, and then Richmond, Virginia is home for me.
Okay.
So I came back home, and when I came back home, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get back into real estate. I don't want to take the test. I don't want to do any of this.
Start over,
right? I was already studying for my brokerage license in Florida, so to come back and start over, it's like, what?
Yeah.
So I took off for a year, and then I was like, nope, real estate is where I need to be.
Yeah.
And so I took the test and got back in, and I started off with Cap Center. Mm-hmm. I had a really cool person that I met in my real estate class who worked for Cap Center at the time. And so they were getting their license and told me about it. Cap Center is a great place. Starting out, it just wasn't a good fit for me.
Right.
And so after a year, I decided to transition to go back out on my own. I started off with Keller Williams out in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
And so coming here, I was like, try something new with Cap Center, being a discount type of brokerage. But EXP has been great. I love it. I stepped out. I was like, I'm going to do this thing. I started over anyway. What am I fearing?
Right.
So started
over. If you don't
over.
like it,
Yeah, if I don't like it, change it up.
Exactly. It's not like, going from one job to another where you're leaving benefits and starting retirement over, right? Yeah.
Either way, I'm an independent contractor.
Exactly.
So I decided to join EXP, and I've always been a solo agent. But once I realized that I could produce 6 figures over and over again, I was like, you know what? Okay. Yeah. Some people decided to ask me for mentorship. And so I started off offering mentorship. And then one of my mentees asked me, could she be on my team? And I was like, I don't have a team. Don't have a team, honey.
Yeah, it's just me.
Because our mentorship was ending. And so I was like, I don't have one.
Yeah.
And she was just like, hey, well, I really would like it if you started a team.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what that looks like with EXP right now.
Yeah.
So I thought about it, and I was like, let me just find out what it takes to start a team here. And EXP walked me through, and I started my team in November of last year.
Nice. Yeah. It's I had no plans of starting. Yeah. Beyond myself.
Exactly.
I was like,
right?
I can do home inspections. I can do, I need to do 5 a week. That's all I need to do.
See, you get your goal, and it's like, I'm good.
That was it. That compensates what I was making in my previous life. That's all I need. And then, 5 turned into 13, and I'm just tired, and I have a problem saying no, as my wife will tell you. I met Gordon, and he was trying to do his ride time, preparing for his next chapter because he was retiring from his current or his previous career. And I was like, "Hey, man, you want a job? I don't know what I'm doing. I can't offer you anything, but you want to come work for me? That'd be cool." And so he's been with me. He reminds everybody he's the longest tenured 360 employee. Right? He reminds Todd and Justin all the time about that. And then a few months later, Aaron Bailey called me about merging with MPI. And that by yourself is easy, right? Because in much like real estate, your overhead is very low, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you got a lot of fees in real estate, but your overhead's relatively low.
Absolutely.
And same thing being an independent or a single a solo inspector, it's, just gas, right?
Exactly.
Tools and gas.
Tools, gas.
Subscription, right? That's about it. But merging with NPI, that brought on employees that don't make me money, right? They cost me money.
They cost you money. So do team members.
Not
Don't
you,
worry.
Talking about somebody else. Over
Team
there.
members cost you money.
That's right. That's right.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Start a team, they say.
Yeah.
No.
So it's scary.
Yeah,
right?
it
It's
is.
challenging because July for us it dipped down.
Yeah.
Because of that. Like I said, that's right when and then everybody was on vacation. I think there's a bunch of factors that we can get into, but and I was like, ooh, I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, I mean, if we maintained that, we would have been okay, right? But just looking at how to diversify and all that stuff, and implement some plans and programs faster than what I had anticipated. But yeah, it's if it's just you and you dip in, whatever.
It's like, okay, it's just me.
I've made a lot of money up to this point. Like, I'll be fine.
But when you have others depending on you, it's
you
like,
just start looking like, man, I burn money, right?
Yeah.
We burn money at a faster rate now. So
yes, a much faster rate.
Yeah. So what was that process like for you when you said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and form my own team?
So that process for me was I started off with one that came on my team. I also teach the pre-licensure course. I'm a mentor for that, a trainer. And so to teach the pre-licensure as a trainer, you have all these new agents that are now like, oh, so I want to know how you did that. Where are you at? Who's your brokerage?
That's right.
And I always tell my students still, like, hey, go interview brokerages. Do your due diligence. Yeah. I want you to still get that experience. Right. Then come back to me. If you didn't like any of them, come back to me. Right. And then we can talk. And so I've had a couple agents that came back and talked to me. And so they joined my team. And then it's just been growing. So now I try to keep it very intimate, though, because I want to make sure that I can still give my time. Right. And I mentor all of them, help them be able to produce at the level that I produce at. And so I keep it very intimate. So right now we are a team of 6, and we're growing strong. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. They do cost. They cost you money. So that was something that, like, we have a team office, and so that is some overhead. And but, I mean, you don't have to, but that was overhead I chose to take just so that we have a space. There's
ways to look at that. Like, no, you don't have to do that. But then you end up with a revolving door. Exactly. Because at some point you're like, well, why am I here? Right? I don't have an office. I don't have access. Right?
Where's the team camaraderie? Where do I meet my team members?
Where can I meet my clients outside of my house? Right?
Exactly.
Or Starbucks.
Or Starbucks.
Whatever. So you have to invest in that. I mean, it's a lot of people, I think, look at it and they say, you know what? Yeah, I can. I'll bring on 5 agents. Yeah. They make money. They make me money. It doesn't cost me anything because everything, they got to pay for their subscriptions. It's all on them. They make me money. Well, if you don't provide anything, no mentorship, no tangibles, then we'll go someplace that will.
Yeah. So your turnover rate is high.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the most, who's the most seasoned agent on your team?
The most seasoned agent on my team is Annie Russian.
And how long has she been doing it?
She's been in real estate for 4 years now. Okay.
So everybody else is less than that, right?
Yes, everybody's less than that. And
I bring that up. What's it like with that young of a team?
It's fun. Because a lot of questions.
a lot of times people when they form teams, sometimes it just happens, right? Like, and it's people you've known for a while, like, hey, let's help each other out and whatnot. So that experience is there, and you bring on some new ones, but a lot of times it's a mixture, right? Yes. So but when you're bringing on all fairly new agents, what's that like?
It's fun.
Yeah.
So Annie Russian is the reason I started my team. Okay. She was the one who asked me, can we partner? Yeah. Do you have a team? Okay, create it so we can have it. Yeah. But the agents on my team, even though they're new, they have questions, but we did a Morgan & Co. boot camp. So I take them from point A to point Z. Yeah. And we literally go through everything from social media, lead generation. We are going over contracts. So I go through the contract from top to bottom, explaining it. What does it mean? You get a lot of questions, but that boot camp kind of helps to where now the questions are kind of minimal.
Right.
And then also with having a team, they can now rely on each other.
Yeah.
Which helps a lot because it, you know, you not only have me as your team leader,
Right.
but you can also go to a team member and say, hey,
Yeah.
I don't quite understand this, or I don't remember how to do this. Can you just guide me? And that helps a lot. And you can go a lot further with the team.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You can go so much further with the team.
Yeah.
And so we're better together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's if nothing else, it brings balance to you.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you're always going to have clients that just want to work with you and things like
Yeah.
that, right?
I had that.
Yeah. But, you know, it's nice knowing that, you know what, I want to take a weekend trip, vacation, whatever, you know, go to my kids, whatever they got going on. And,
Exactly.
And if I need to show a house, I got somebody I can rely on.
Absolutely.
I can depend on. And you know, I know that they're going to be able to write a contract and do all that stuff, attend the home inspection and really help out versus just you 24/7, 365.
Yeah. And you also hold each other accountable.
Right.
So you have built-in accountability partners
absolutely.
that are
Absolutely.
like, hey, no, you said your goal was this.
Yeah.
What are you doing today?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't align with your goals. So
Exactly.
let's get going.
And,
They motivate.
it's a check for you as well, because if you know, obviously you got to meet certain goals to operate the business now because of the overhead, right? So if all of a sudden all the deals are dependent on you because nobody else is producing, you know, now
It's hard.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. So what's if you had one lesson that you've learned from this, you know, starting your own team, bringing in newer people versus experienced people, and all of that, like what would you tell your younger self, right? Or the next person,
My younger self, or the next person who says, "Let's start a team."
Yeah, yeah.
Try to make sure that you already have your systems in place.
Yeah.
So systems are huge for us. And so if you don't have those systems in place already, you're kind of learning it and doing it with them.
Yeah.
And so for me, not wanting to have a team at the time, and it was just myself. And then it was like overnight.
Yeah.
I want a team. Let's partner on this. And
That's
it's
right.
like, okay, well, I have my systems in place, but how do I share it with you?
Right.
And so I would say have those things moving forward. Like if you know at some point in time you want to have a team, I would say already have those systems and know your format and how you're going to go about helping them produce as well.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Systems and the older I get, you know, the more I realize how important systems are.
Yeah.
And we've implemented some systems in the last few months to really, nobody pays attention to these systems.
You know, calendars, those things.
Calendars, you know, project management boards, you know, marketing strategies.
Yes.
You know,
all of those things.
all those things, you know, to help spread out, you know, your vision and your plan.
Yeah.
And then I would say scheduling, because it gets away from me. Like, you know, like I said, August has just been crazy. So, I don't get on the phone calls that I need to be on, you know, I'm not doing enough of this stuff that I need to be doing, you know, networking that I should be doing, because of doing inspections. So it's a good trade-off, but if you have newer people, and I'm fortunate, you know, I can, you know, the three monkeys that I got, I can just take the leashes off and
go.
let it go, right? But if you have newer people that's trying to learn and you're trying to teach them your way, especially in the beginning, and you're constantly tied up with clients and things like that, it's, you know, you don't ever have time to actually tend to them.
Yes.
So you really got to focus in on your schedule. Like, you know, these days,
time blocking,
these times,
everything.
exactly, is when I want to be dedicated to this, you know.
That was a big thing for me.
Every Monday, whatever, is our team meeting, and regardless of what pops up, like we, you know, not. That's cool. And then a client calls, I can do that. I can show you a house. Yeah. You know, no, you got to stick to those now.
That is huge for me, because not only am I a realtor, I'm a team lead now. I'm also a mom, I'm a wife.
Yeah.
I am a mentor still. I also do real estate investing. So I wear many hats. And so knowing how to juggle all those and do your time blocking and stick to it, that's huge. It's like, no, my clients are at this time. My team is at this time. And this is my time for doing real estate investing. So it's a lot.
So how do you set those expectations for clients?
So my clients, I always, in our initial consultation, I tell them what my hours of operation are. And then I'll tell them, hey, if I don't answer my phone, please shoot me a text.
Right.
And that way, if I'm with another client, I can easily glance at a text and know, okay, is it urgent right now? If not, I can get back to it.
Right.
And then I have a time throughout my day that I check all my text messages and emails. So I check like my clients' portals first thing in the morning, and then I check them again in the evening, and they know that.
Okay.
So I'm fully transparent in our consultation to say, hey, listen, if you mark anything in your portal, you favorite it, you want to go see it, I'm not going to see that if you did not mark it before 7:30 a.m.
Right.
If you marked it at 1 p.m., I'm not going to see it until 6 o'clock that night.
Right.
So if it's something you wanted to see that day, you're going to need to hurry up and send me a text and say, hey, I want to go see this house today if possible.
Yeah.
And so I make sure that I'm telling them these things up front, being realistic so they know I'm human.
Well, and it's important, right?
Yeah.
Because you look at, and realtors are so bad at this because they wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
It's this 24/7. I'm showing houses on Christmas Day, you know, and it's that's not healthy.
Not
me.
me.
You know, and I get in the beginning when you're trying.
When you're trying,
you do what you gotta do, but that's every job. It's every business owner, not every job, but every time you want to start a new business as an entrepreneur or whatever. I mean, that's the first couple of years. It's just a grind, you know, to get. But your whole life shouldn't be that way.
Yes.
But realtors are just wear it as a badge of honor. Oh, you know, I start at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at noon or at midnight or whatever, you know, and it's like, that's not okay.
You set your standard in the consultation so that they can already they know your expectations, and then you can find out what their expectations are of you. Right. And that way, if y'all are not a good fit, you can go ahead and part ways at that time in the consultation. Yeah. But most of the time when I tell my clients or potential clients, you know, that, hey, this is my hours of operation, this is how I work, you know, will that work for you? Most of them are fine with it. And they're like, thank you for telling me, because if I would have sent you an email and you didn't see it, I'd be like, why didn't she respond to me yet? Yeah. Well, you're not my only client. Yeah. This isn't the only thing that I do. So I want you to know I'm juggling things, but I have a system to how I'm doing things.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. And I think a lot of stuff people they just don't set those expectations.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where you fall.
It is.
That's where you fall. Yeah. Because I mean, expectations that someone else has of you that you don't know about. It's like, wait, what? You were mad at me because of what? I didn't even know you were expecting that from me. So it's like, have that conversation. Communication is key.
And being able to not just set those expectations, but stay firm in them too.
Absolutely. You know, have your standard.
And being able to, like you said, we're just not going to work, right? I'm not the person for you.
I tell people
or
all the time.
Or at least being at that point where you're comfortable, you know? Like
every client is not meant for you, and don't try to force it to make it work.
And you know, I talked to Jeff Zielinski Past Now, and I was talking to him the other day. He's like, you know, they were kind of light on like a day. He's like, you know, business isn't going anywhere, right? You know, he's very successful. He's like, but you can't help but feel anxiety right?
About
you know,
it.
Like, why are we slow today? You know, what about tomorrow? But if you have the ability to look into the future of what you've built and comfortable with what you've done, then it's okay to let a client walk.
Yes.
You know, you're like, because it's a lot less stressful that way versus like, you know, well, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so I need every client and I'll go with the headaches. And it's just, again, just not healthy.
And me, I can't function under all of that stress.
Yeah.
And that is not how I operate. Yeah. I'm like, you will have the worst realtor experience ever.
Yeah.
So no.
So what does the future hold? What's your plans? You know, global domination?
Global domination, taking over Richmond, of course.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So, no, honestly, my team
Courtney's
knows.
excited about that.
Let's go. No, seriously, my team and I, we've talked, and so we're looking to be a mega icon team within EXP. Being the first woman-led one.
Important.
It's very important. That's once we hit 40 million in sales.
Wow.
And so that is our goal, and we're going to hit it. We're putting the things in place to be able to get there.
So what's your plan, right? So this is, you know, like you talked earlier about being accessible and things like that to your team, right? Being personal, that intimate relationship and whatnot. What's your plans when that's no longer attainable because your team grows, right? And there's only so much of you, right?
So I train my agents to understand that they have each other. And then with the systems that I have in place, they know that they still have access to me, but we have things in place that you don't need me as much. So it's almost like raising a child. Where the child needs you a whole lot, and you're starting to give them their independence, right? Teaching them how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on their own, or showing them how to tie their shoes. So I'm with them in the beginning, giving them all kinds of training and systems in place, and then I delegate a lot of things. And so having an admin assistant, having our transaction coordinator. So all of these things are available to them. That way they don't need and rely on Toya so much. It's like, okay, I have these things in place. So yes, if I need her, I can go to her. But I also have a Annie. I have a Takesha. I have a Tiara. I have a Shanique. I have LaWanda. So it's like I can go to different people and ask questions, and I don't necessarily have to get Latoya, and I'm still okay.
Right. So I think that's one of the benefits. Now, typically, certain people attract certain people, right?
Absolutely.
So even if you were to start a team with in a different way with other people, whatnot, most likely like mindsets, right?
Oh yeah.
But with that being said, there is a benefit, even though there's headaches, of having newer people.
Yes.
That wasn't, I guess, I don't know, tainted by other people or processes, right? You know, bad habits, I guess, right? So that way, and that's one of the things like with Gordon, right? And Justin and Todd do a great job, right? But they didn't come up under me, right?
Exactly.
So Gordon did, and so when someone new comes on board, hopefully soon, their first stop is going to be Gordon, because Gordon knows. You know,
and see, you're setting that standard already,
exactly,
so that they're not relying on you and holding on to. I need Sidney and Sidney only.
And I told Gordon that, and he's super excited about it too. But it's,
I bet he is.
But it's that you know, you have somebody new, fresh into the industry. You train them how you do it, because that's your brand. That's how you do things. And then that's that hands off, right? Like now I got other things to do.
Yes,
I can't be accessible to everybody. So Gordon's going to work with you for a little bit, right? And then you'll come back to me. We'll see how you're doing.
Exactly.
And then I'll send you to Todd, and Todd can ruin your whole life.
Your whole
life. That's right. That's right. But I think that's important when you have newer people. It's fun because yes, there's headaches, right? Because there's a lot of learning curves. But the trade off is, for experienced people, the headaches are that, you know, bad habits, right?
Yes.
Potentially, right? Because you'll get some people that, you know, we've seen them, they hop, right? And it's always, well, it's them, not me.
Exactly.
Right? And they want to come join you. And you're like, oh, cool. So, So
I think with my transparency that I have with my team, like I am so personable with them and fully transparent that this is the standard.
Right.
This is the brand. This is the vision.
Yeah.
Does it fit for you?
Yeah.
And I'm the person that they interview with. So I'm the person, if you are saying I want to come on the team, I don't have a team just to say I have a team.
Right.
I have a team because, you know, these are like-minded individuals that see the goal and vision, and we're all working as a unit to get there. So I am quick to say, this isn't a good fit.
That's right.
And letting that go before it tarnishes the brand or the team. Yeah. So I know as we grow, you know, I try to make sure that when I'm interviewing people, everyone's not going to always be best friends.
Right.
That's not what I'm looking for the team to be. But I at least want personalities to kind of match up so that we're not in a situation of drama. Yeah. When I tell you I'm so peaceful, I love peace, that I just will cut it off. Yeah. So, definitely making sure that, you know, you set that standard up front.
You do. And when you go to a big office or big brokerage, you know, and there's nothing wrong with any of them, but the bigger it is, they can tolerate some of that stuff better.
Exactly.
But if you have a small team and you get somebody that's a little bit dramatic
Yes.
or a little undermining, or, you know, you ask them to do something and then they're calling, you know, a Courtney or whoever else is on the team and say, do you know what Sid just asked me to do? You know, and it can really decimate the team really quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
or especially if one person is ruining the team because they're not doing any work.
Yes.
And you're just watching the rest of the team struggle.
Yes.
And do it on their own. And it's like, no, I need you to be a team player.
Yeah.
So they know that going in.
Yeah. And hopefully most of the time, but hopefully, I mean, there's always exceptions to every rule, but most of the time, you know, once you've established your brand and whatnot, you're going to attract the people that actually want to.
Exactly.
You know? Not saying they don't, you know.
And I think that's where we are now, like that we are attracting the agents and team members that are going to be conducive to getting to the goal. Right.
So what's your thoughts for the rest of the year into next year? What do you think what do you think is going to happen?
Listen, real estate is unpredictable
it
sometimes,
is.
okay?
It is.
Because I did not expect the shift to happen this fast.
Right.
I knew a shift was coming. Right. But I feel like I opened my eyes and was like, wait, what? We're now on the market longer. Buyers are coming with demands. Yeah. This was just yesterday. I was able to just say, yeah, we'll be sold in a weekend. But I don't know. For me, it's unpredictable. I know the interest rates, I don't see them dropping back down. I think they're going to slowly climb a little bit just to try and balance out the market even more. And then as far as, I know we're about to hit our holiday season. So this is the time where it usually gets slower for real estate agents. So just trying to make sure that you balance all of that out, right? Yeah. So that you prepare for January when everything starts to kind of pick back up. People are done with the holidays and they're now like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. You know, even if interest rates increase or decrease, it's not going to be at the rate that they
were before.
2.5% to 6% overnight, right? So I don't think it's going to be as much of a factor moving forward. And you know, I don't think they're going to go from 6 to 9 or anything like that, right? They're going to, for the most part, hover, right? You know,
I think
plus
we're
or minus a point here and there, but so that'll be that's that stability for that,
exactly.
Right? So yeah, I think moving forward, still going to be shifting a little bit, more inventory, you know,
definitely more inventory, and the reason you're seeing the more inventory is because of the time on the market. Yeah, so you're having more active listings. Yeah, they're not flying off so fast. So yes, we're already seeing like, oh, there's a little bit of a climb in the inventory, but it's not because more houses are coming on the market. It's because houses are staying on the market a little bit longer. Right. So
yeah, bring a little bit of that.
Bring balance. A little bit of balance.
Yeah, might actually get to enjoy some.
Exactly. Enjoy some time, right?
Yeah, but just like everything else, there's a trade-off.
Oh you know?
I mean, you go from fast-paced and everything sells in a weekend to, well, now I got to do repair addendums. Yeah. And now we got to negotiate repairs.
And now we got negotiations going on. And so you're spending a little bit more time with transactions and sellers than what you had been before. It's like, I had my seller for all of 20 days. Got it. Now it's like, I have my seller for 30, 45, 60.
I was in the office on Monday, and the team leader was like, got 2 listings, both of them like $750, price range. He says, 2 listings, 1 offer, 20 grand below, 14-day inspection. This isn't fun anymore.
Listen, I just got one. My listing is set at a little under $400,000. Yeah. Buyer came straight out the gate, $12,000 seller's concession, 10-day inspection. And I was like, this is it. We're here.
So how do you navigate that with sellers now? Because sellers have seen how things are, and now you come in and, hey, let's list your house, whatever. This is what the comps are bringing in. So we're going to list for $500,000, right? And then a week goes by, a couple of days go by in a week. They get 1 offer, $10,000 below, $15,000 below offer, and you say, hey, you should consider taking this. Yeah. And of course they're saying,
there's no way.
Yeah.
I shouldn't take this.
Yeah.
I should have more of a say so.
Yeah.
Like, no, I
Down
want
the
this price for my house.
$50,000 over.
Exactly. But that was 3 months ago.
Yeah. So how do you navigate those waters?
So I actually just trained my agents on this. So what we're doing is we're kind of pivoting. You have to pivot when the market is moving. It's a flow, right?
Right.
So the market is telling us that now the sellers are going to have to come up off of some. This was prior to the pandemic. We were already having this. Welcome to the real estate, right? So I've seen this before. And so you have to know how to pivot in those market shifts. And one of the things that we're doing is we're showing in our consultations in advance. So I'm big about communication and transparency, right?
Right.
So the biggest thing is to let your sellers know. So it's not a smack in the face when they get their first offer. It's like, hey, based on the market data, this is what it's showing. Houses in the past 6 months, they were only on the market for this many days, right? However, let's look prior to the pandemic. What was it in your area?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm giving them so that they are able to see both sides of it and understand that, okay, with there being a market shift, we may be on the market a little bit longer. And prior to the pandemic, people were giving up seller's concession in your area of $8,000. So is it unrealistic now that we're having a market shift that someone's coming to you and asking for $5,000?
Yeah.
Not really, because there's a shift now. So buyers are starting to be able to ask for some things.
And I think for anybody that listens, all three people, to this, that is probably the best advice or thing that I've heard, because the thing that I've seen that just makes me cringe every time I see somebody posted on Facebook is comparing numbers to this time last year.
You can't.
And you can't,
You
because
cannot.
just like when you're comparing your numbers in the business, you know,
Yes.
if you've been in business for 10 years, your highest year and your lowest year, you got to throw them away because those are anomalies. And the last 2 years have been exceptions to the rule. That's not the rule.
That's not the rule.
So putting all this data and numbers up and trying to get people to panic or whatever you're trying to do because you're saying, you know, well, it's down or up or prices, whatever, based on last year, it doesn't mean anything.
Yes,
right. So
exactly.
you got to go back to when it was more of an average.
Exactly.
You know,
an average market that we
You
had.
know, 2017, 2018 to compare. It's like everybody in business, like, well, I'm down this year. Okay. Well, that's because last year was crazy. Right. What was your numbers in 17 and 18?
Exactly.
You know?
Let's see what we were doing then.
Yeah. Before you hit that panic button.
Exactly.
Right. You know, because there's already been people that's left the industry, both realtors and home inspectors,
Absolutely.
because they said, well, my numbers are way down from the last 2 years. Yeah. Okay.
So what do we need to do?
You know, I mean,
that was expected. You thought we were going to stay here?
Yeah. Like everybody said that was unsustainable. And then when it became unsustainable and we moved, all of a sudden it's like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
we've
been saying this.
We've been saying it the whole time.
So yeah, there's been a lot of people I say a lot, there's been a few people that's already started to make that, you know, transition out of the industry.
Absolutely.
Just because they thought that was just going to last forever or whatever. I don't know what they were thinking.
And you're seeing it. And that is something that I've taught my new agents. So as you know, I have a lot of new agents on the team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you guys can make it through this market and this market shift, you're going to be great.
Yeah.
So if you can hold on, because you're going to see a lot of realtors and real estate agents that are going to fall off now because the market, they jumped in while it was hot.
Yep.
And they're expecting that every month. And that's not the case. That's not real estate in real life. Yes, you have to fight for your clients. So here it is. Welcome to the real world of real estate.
Yeah.
And so they get it. And they're like, dang, you're right.
Yeah.
I know this person who got licensed, this person, they're gone. And I'm like,
Yeah, all those posts of listed, sold in 3 hours, call me.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like, that's what everybody's doing.
And then
you
you still have some people in their listing appointments that are doing that. That are still saying, you know, well, based on the market data, we're going to sell in 5 days. And it's like, no.
I say biggest concern, I say that loosely, is because so many agents and home inspectors, but, you know, in this specific case, agents flooded the industry. And they didn't know anything other than the last 2 years.
Exactly.
And a lot of their go-to is, just waive the inspection.
Yes.
Waive the appraisal, because they don't have the experience to really see the consequences of some of this advice, right? And now they're going to get into a position where, you know, you're going to give that bad advice. It's going to get you in a situation
that you may not be able to backpedal out of.
Exactly. or you're going to have to actually negotiate, and it's going to, and the wheels are going to come off because you just
you've never even had to negotiate.
Trainings, right?
Yeah, you missed all that.
Because I didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to be interesting. You know, obviously, if you're producing, you know, and you pay attention to those tangibles, those skill sets, you're going to be fine. Right?
Absolutely.
And come spring next year, you're going to be just as busy as you were. You know.
Yep.
But so you gotta be able to understand numbers. You gotta understand what you're looking at, right? Just don't compare to last year. Right?
Exactly.
You really gotta understand what
you gotta understand it,
and you gotta understand how important these skills are.
Yes.
So, well, I want to be respectful of your time. Courtney's got to go someplace. She's just staring at me. She works at Hollow Scream, and she's got to get to Busch Gardens. Yeah, she's super excited about that.
I remember when I was younger and I worked at Kings Dominion as a lifeguard, and they did the Halloween night.
Talk to you about
my gosh. I would never stay for them, though. I would never stay for it. Yeah. I worked there and I wouldn't stay.
Yeah.
I did it like one night. I got off super late and I had to walk through, and I was like, I'm going to punch one of these guys in the face. I was like, let me hurry up and run out of here. You jump out at me. It's not exciting.
Well, last question. How's your handyman doing?
Handyman's going well.
Good. For those that don't know, Latoya's husband, Kevin, hosts a podcast, Success Blues podcast. Very good podcast. Check it out. But when I go over there, he's talking about the honey-do list he's got for the office.
I keep Dr. K busy. So busy.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah, I keep Dr. K busy.
That's right.
He's tech support. He is doing honey-do lists. He is everything.
Good. So if people want to reach you, how do they reach you?
You can find me on any social media platform at latoyawashington.realtor. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and you can always go to our website, morganandcorealty.com.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.